Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are in the Shimakaze. But it's not what you think. Well, it kind of is what you think. But there's been somebody requesting for like 60 days at this point. It's close to 60 days. Every single day for me to run a beam Shimakaze gunboat build. So I did. And what you're about to see is that. Unfortunately, it means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things because running a meme Shimakaze gunboat build, A, is very incredibly stupid. I'm going to just throw that out there. And B, like, you just never get a chance to actually use it. Like, I wish I could. I wish I could sit there and farm damage with this thing, but you just never get that chance. So, I'm going to showcase the meme gunboat Shima build at the beginning, which, again, I didn't put the commander skills in here because it's stupid. If anybody runs a meme gunboat commander skill or like reload build on your freaking Shima, you deserve everything you get. Look at our detection, 6.2 kilometers. All right, we've got William Sims and we've got Hyde on here to give us extra hit points because with the detection like this, we need it as much as possible. Now, I could have run a smaller like detection range, but if I'm going meme build, I want hit points because I'm expecting to get into fights. Now, with this build, our main gun reload is under 6 seconds. It's about 5.4 seconds, which is a lot better than you think, given how strong these little 127mm HE shells are on the Shimakaze. I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm saying that it most of the time is a dumb idea. Alright? So we'll showcase this, and again, shocker, but no chance that most of the stuff that we do in this match is just would have been better if I was a regular Shima build. Alright, now I'm going to showcase everything. Now, we looked at the beginning of the match, and we saw that we were up against one radar. There's one radar in the entire lobby. Anyone want to take a guess as to where he is? Wait for it. Oh, look. Another. We have a Delaware and a Yama, and oh my god, I'm radared. Son of a mother trucker. You gotta be kidding me. Out of all of the places that this little turd blossom could spawn in, he's gotta be right here behind the island in a perfect place to jump out and do bad things to me. Well, unfortunately for him, as he does do damage to me, I send 15 demon fish capable of 20,000 plus damage in his direction. And he committed way too hard to this kill, which he was never going to get. He might hurt me, but he's never going to get this kill. Ever. Like, you're in Alaska, you don't have the DPM to kill me in 30 seconds. So, guess who he gets to eat? He gets to eat torpedoes. Shocker. Now, we did spot those torpedoes from our enemy Shimakaze, who just happened to spawn mid and is about to go into the Bravo cap. But Alaska goes down early. Shocker. Apparently, if you just yellow out into the middle where everybody's ready to shoot you. Now, don't pay attention to the fact that my battleship is just sitting full broadside right now. And shocker, he's dead. Who could have seen that? I'm sorry, Humpty Dumpty, but not even all the king's horses and all the king's men can save you if you're going to sit broadside, alright? If you get that reference, I mean, just look at his gamer tag. Anyway, it's not naming and shaming. It's just simply a joke made about his gamer tag. But I digress. We've captured the base. Solo cap. We've got 31,000 damage from 2 torpedoes on the Alaska. We have survived relatively well, and now it's time for us to make a big mistake. Now, remember, I am not used to running a Shimakaze with a 6.2 kilometer spotting range. I was trying to use the edge of the island here to sneak up on Delaware, but as you can see, I realized that he's kind of away from the island, and I'm in trouble. So we go ahead, we turn in, use the island to try to break contact as quickly as possible, hoping that neither of these guys are ready to shoot me, and it looks like we get away with it for now. Now, the Yamato that's over here, he's going to be completely useless to his team, so we're not worried about him. You'll notice that the gearing died already on the enemy team, which means the only one left is the Shimakaze, and he's in the B cap. Shocker. It's almost like we already saw torpedoes come across, so we knew he was in the area, but now we know where he's at. Now, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. I'm running a gunboat build, and I don't have Perceptive on because I went for full reload, which is what you guys asked for in the chat. So, I went full reload, no craziness, but I just never got a chance to use the guns. And I'm not doing this multiple times to try to showcase this build, because it's stupid, and I don't want to. So, instead, we've got a normal Shima game, following up. Very first game in the Shima with the regular build after this build, right? So here we dump all of our torpedoes. We've caught the Delaware with what he's trying to do here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop our smoke screen because we know that the Delaware is getting close enough to spot us. Come on, drop the smoke. Drop the smoke, dum-dum! You've got your torps out there. But we put all of our torps... Ouch. See? If you'd have just dropped your smoke a little sooner, dum-dum, you'd have been fine. But fortunately, we absolutely send this Delaware packing. 3 full torp hits, and down he goes for a dev strike. And then Shima gets around the corner before I can truly start to punish him. But we get him spotted momentarily. That's going to get him shot up by my teammates, which is fantastic. And then we're going to try to head him off. Now, there's one thing that this Shimakaze is doing that no Shimakaze should ever be doing. And I'm not going to lie. Fortunately for me, the moment that we catch up to him, it doesn't bite us in the backside because he's in a smoke screen, right? Like, there's no... And I'm around the island. But watch, as soon as I get within 3 kilometers of him, I'm going to light up like a Christmas tree on the 4th of July. Why? Simple. He's running the RGA mod. Absurd. Why does any Shimakaze decide to run a freaking RGA mod? I don't know. Even me, as a meme gunboat, didn't run RGA here. But it doesn't matter because as soon as I get within 2 kilometers, I'm going to light him up. And again, he's around the corner, so I don't get to shoot him. But guess who does? The Colombo. And my other teammates. And down he goes. Now, you can see that there is a Colbert here trying to shoot me right now. And we're trying to do a good job of Tokyo drifting away from it. We took a couple of little tiny hits. But we're going to give him a little bit of peace in my mind in return. We're going to fire a couple shells. Watch the damage that these shells can do. This is what I'm talking about with these shells. There is a little bit of merit to these shells. Look at that. 4 full pins on a Colbert. Right? None of those shattered. Which is why these shells can be so nasty against other destroyers. But again, you just don't ever get a chance to use them. You just don't get a chance to use them. Now, what happens next is incredibly infuriating to me. This Colbert has no hit points, right? I'm spotting my enemies, but this Colbert has no hit points. And he's going to get away with this for way too long. All they have to do is hit him, and he dies. All they have to do is hit him. Hit the man. But he goes dark, and then nobody challenges him. I want you to pay attention to the clock, all right? I want you to pay attention to the clock, because this man sonars me right now, and that was perfect, because it happened right at the 8-minute mark. Watch how long I'm lit up for because this man sonars me. And it kind of throws my entire thing off, because now not only am I sonared, but he's also going to spot my freaking torpedoes, which is obnoxious. As we try to get the torps out there on the main, and eventually a Colombo as well. But because we're lit up, these guys are just going to get here and be able to shoot at us, which is not ideal when you've got 16 guns looking in your direction, and then another 12 behind, or 10 behind that. But we start taking some shots at him, because if I'm going to be lit up, I might as well start shooting back. He's going to beach himself on the island over there, and I'm going to try to just deny them points by sitting in the cap. But look at my battleship. Why is my battleship not pushing this freaking Colbert right now? What is a battleship afraid of a Colbert ever? It should not be a thing. If you're afraid of a Colbert, you've got issues. Alright? Because ain't no battleship in the world should be afraid of a goddamn Colbert. Now here comes the shot from the Colombo, unfortunately. Fortunately, we get out the way. But we tried to land those torps, but he bounced off that island, and he's definitely running propulsion mod, because he bounced off that island. He was full speed reversing. I ain't seen somebody in reverse that hard since the Battle of the Bulge, is all I'm saying. But we're going to go ahead, take a shot at him as we part ways, and just try to retreat. I don't want to keep being shot at, okay? I don't want to be shot at. And look at this battleship. The battleship decides he wants to go bow tank the freaking Colombo, rather than just go around the corner and kill the goddamn Colbert. Like, again, what are you doing? And he's lost all of his hit points. How did he lose all of his hit points? Please, explain it. If you can figure it out, please let me know. But we're trying to get some shots over the island. Unfortunately, we're just auto-aiming. We're not able to use the guns a whole lot here. Again, this is the problem. Like, you don't get games where you get to be a gunboat in a Shima, all right? It's such a waste of your time to devote a Shima to being a gunboat. Because the games don't last long enough for it to be a deal breaker anyway. Right? Like, most of the games are over within 8 minutes. Right? But that Colbert kept us lit up for so long, and then he pieces out just in time for our battleships to screw over. Like, look how long it takes them to kill him. This was a Yamato right next to us, man. A Yamato. He overmatches the Colbert. All he has to do is shoot the man. He dies. He ain't got no hit points. But I digress. We have 90,000 damage. We've done everything we needed to do. We've got a cap. We're about to get a second cap. This will be assist cap probably, unless, of course, Yamato dies. But as we push towards the other cap, we're just going to get out here and we're going to do what we got to do, you know? Again, we know what to expect. I think this actually is a solo cap. Nope, it's an assist cap. All right, I thought they were shooting the Yama that was next to me, but apparently they didn't reset it. But finally, they take out the Colbert. That man lived far too long. Far too long. There is no reason that guy should have lived as long as he did, but it doesn't matter. A win's a win at the end of the day, and I would say I enjoyed this. It was stupid. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mind doing a challenge here and there, but don't give me a challenge that's completely idiotic, all right? Like, there's no good purpose for a gunboat Shima, all right? There's none. Can it be okay in certain circumstances, as we set a fire on the first shell that hits that Yama, and then, of course, he loses all of his hit points immediately, right? But you can see we can get some damage if we can actually hit his superstructure, but he's right on the edge of our range, so getting any hits at all, and we're going to slow down, turn in as hard as we can, but it's a Shima. It doesn't turn exactly. It's not a gearing or anything like that. It can't turn. That's the problem. That's the other problem. Shima has terrible traverse speed, terrible turning. Like, it is like the worst possible gunboat that you could possibly set up, right? Which is why I say it's so dumb. The only reason that this game was even somewhat funny is the fact that I was able to get a single fire here at the end and get a perma-fire that gave us plenty of damage, right? So we ended up doing, what, 30,000 damage with guns because of the fire? Something like that. So, in that, it worked. But I don't recommend it, okay? It's a dumb idea. But, again, I hope this satisfies your challenge, because I'm not doing it again, all right? But, as we finished up that one, let's go ahead and get to the second game. And this match is going to be your textbook Shimakaze concealment torpedoes, just being an absolute menace to the enemy team and doing everything in our power to carry a full sack of potatoes on our back to a victory. And the sad part is, like, it's a bad day when you can do the amount of work that I did in this match and still it comes down to being a close match. But when you see what my team does in this match, at least the people that are around me, I can't speak for the other side of the map. There was at least one person on the other side of the map that I was talking to late game that seemed to have his ducks in a row. But the rest of the team seemed to be the biggest sack of spuds you've ever seen in your life. I also gotta give a shout out to a specific person later on as well that's on the enemy team. But I digress. We're going to push in. And we're not going to go straight into the cap because, again, I'm not located, but that doesn't mean there isn't a destroyer here. Now, one of the things that I like to do right off the bat, we see the Burgonia heading this direction. This is textbook enemy team. Like, people are very predictable in this game. Like, they just are. They spawn in a specific location. 9 times out of 10, they do the exact same thing they do every single time they load in. Like, it's so predictable. So we're going to go ahead and throw some torpedoes out here. I like to plug the gap on the right side of this island just in case there is a destroyer, but we also know the Burgonia's there, so we know we have the range to hit Burgonia, and you can see by launching those torpedoes there. Now, as he comes out of his turn, he does hit his engine boost, and that's unfortunate for us because that engine boost is going to save his life. But as we go into the cap here, we just wanted to fill that entire side with torpedoes, but you can see my twist and track, or my perceptive, is pointing to the left side of the island. So I have no idea what's there, but I know it's something that is no good for me, right? And when we see the SAP coming, we know it's Venezia. Like, it's pretty obvious. And that's when I look and I see Napoli here, and Napoli is going to run face first into torpedoes, okay? And then on top of that, he's going to smoke up and then fire his guns and get himself just yeeted. Look at him broadside, getting just yeeted by the Burgonia. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I can't, for the life of me, save these people from themselves. You just can't. Like, you're in a goddarn Napoli. The only reason that this Napoli contributes anything is because the enemy Venezia was dumber than he was. Which is impressive. Well, look, he launches those torpedoes out, and the Venezia's like, yeah, I'm just going to circle back. I'm sure it'll be fine. I've never seen this go wrong. But then it's like, no, the entire Italian Navy just completely lost their goddarn minds on this side of the map, right? I want you to remember that. So Venezia is going to run right into those torps and get death struck by Napoli torps that take 2 centuries to get to the target. Bonk, bonk, down he goes. I guess he didn't get death struck, but still. Ate the torps and died. I guess this guy smacked him pretty good. But then this guy just goes full broadside. He can see a Lepanto. He knows there's a Burgonia. He knows there's a Zal here. They've all been spotted. It's not like it's a freaking rocket science, man. I'm no expert at the game. Okay, actually, I can consider myself probably a bit more of an expert than the average player. We already know this, right? But still, I don't consider myself an expert. There are people that know way more about the game than I do. I know enough to get me through. But the just sheer idiocy that is on display in most matches is mind-boggling. They're always broadside. Why are they always broadside? And this goes both ways. You get it on both teams. But I don't understand. How many times, and I even say this in the match, like, how many times do you have to go broadside and get just get completely ruined because you're broadside? How many times does that have to happen before you decide that it's a bad idea to be broadside all the time? Like, there are levels to this game. I get that. But you're at the top of the mountain, my dude. You're at tier 8 and legendary tier. You should have an idea of what the f you're doing. But he pulls right up in front of the Lepanto. He's sailed right into a crossfire like a good little boat. Like, legitimately, you couldn't have asked him to play this any better for the enemy team if you tried. He has all of the cards in his hands, and he f***ed it up. And then he's got the Burgonia, who's also just practicing broadside. We all know broadside is best side, right? Comes out full broadside, gets absolutely creamed by the freaking, the, whatever you call it, the radar Italian battleship, the Giuseppe. But, gets absolutely yeeted, but of course he lives, as you do. And then this GK that spawned in, he spawned mid, okay? He has taken this entire time. We're 5 minutes into the match. This man has come all the way across the map, from the middle of the map, and then is just going to sail to the back corner of the map and do absolutely nothing for 90% of this match. Like, what is the purpose? You got 115,000 hit points as we get a nice little perfectly executed torpedo right there on the Zal. And then we're going to go ahead and drop some torps on this Lepanto, too. I always end up assuming that the guy is going to maintain his course because every single time I try to predict these potatoes, they just stay in a straight line. Like, every single time that I've tried to torp drop somebody and go, okay, they're going to slow down, I'm going to drop some torps behind them, they end up just staying their course, and they outrun my torpedoes, and it irritates the crap out of me, right? But we do end up taking this guy and hitting him with a couple of these torps as he slowed down. And I want you to pay attention to my GK. My GK is still just turning and running, right? Like, he's terrified of a Zal, a Lepanto, and a Burgonia that has no hit points. And it's not like these guys are playing particularly well, either. Like, we already hit this guy with torpedoes. Could potentially get some help out of that with our battleship, right? Maybe hit him. Like, imagine if he was close enough to be trading some of his hit points and being able to, like, get the secondaries involved or anything like that. He could get some permafires, but nope, can't have that. Now he's full broadside because he ran into the edge of the map. Can't run away forever. We're going to go ahead and drop these torps on the Zal, hoping that we catch him. I should have probably dropped these on the Lepanto, but again, Lepanto is full broadside to this Kurfürst, and Kurfürst is full broadside in return, so there goes a good chunk of his health. You can't make it up. Like, it makes no sense. But look at the amount of difference that's between us and the enemy team. I've tried to keep these guys out of the cap. I can't do it alone, man. I can only really do so much. It's not like we haven't been effective. We got 66,000 damage, and it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better for the enemy team. That's for sure. Like, they seem like they're going through it, but the enemy team is destined to throw this match. They are destined to throw this match. When you see what everybody is doing, they are destined to try to throw. So, who am I to deny them when they're this when they're working this hard to throw the match. They have all the caps. They have more ships than us. They have a 400-point advantage. All they have to do is run the fuck away, and they win the match. They know I'm here. It's not rocket science, folks. Pay attention to the score. Pay attention to the minimap. Pay attention to eating goddamn torpedoes from a destroyer 3 minutes ago. You know I'm still here. You dumb enough to eat the torps, I'm definitely going to keep shooting you. But we go ahead, we get our smoke screen up. I stayed lit up way too long here, but it's fine. What is he going to do to us, right? There's no way he escapes this. Like, he can't slow down quick enough for this at all. So this guy's toast. We already know that. He's done. So, easy kill. Lepanto goes down. No problem. Now, obviously, with that dev strike, we're over 100,000 damage. 113,000 damage with 4 torp hits on him and the dev strike. Now, thankfully, our Zhao is trying to torp me, I think. I think that's his goal. Maybe he's trying to throw some whites. No, because the GK is going back the other direction again. So Zhao is definitely trying to come after me. Rather than sitting in my smoke screen, what do, folks? I have somebody here that can potentially shoot something. So rather than just sitting around and waiting to get murdered by a Zhao who runs up on me in my smoke screen, I get out of the smoke screen and I start spotting to try to give the potatoes a chance, right? They can't shoot what they can't see. Even a potato knows that. So we're going to go ahead and drop some torps again on the direction that we know that the Zhao is going. And this is one of those times where I definitely should have. And of course, GK takes a shot. Guy turns out just the slightest little bit, dodges everything because GK didn't anticipate the guy not sailing in a straight line. Fair enough, I guess. But doesn't hit him with a single shell. And then, unfortunately, that forces the Zhao to turn away. And that's going to save him from my torpedoes, too. But we almost got him. We almost got him with these torpedoes. He slowed down. I'm assuming he's running his sonar. He slows down and dodges these torpedoes. But look at that. Like, he was destined for greatness. But he gets away with it. And then I almost eat the torpedoes myself from, I'm assuming, the gearing. Like, these torpedoes are not the Zhao's torpedoes. So they came in at a strange angle. But we do have our torpedoes back. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to trap the Burgonia. This guy has Austin Powers himself right up against the island. We're going to go ahead and take full advantage of that and keep the Zhao lit. I have no chance here unless my teammate steps up and actually contributes. Now that battleship that's on the other side, again, is doing his darndest to give the team a chance on that side of the map. I'm doing everything in my power to give our team a chance on this side of the map, and the enemy is doing everything in their power to throw this game. The Zhao is staying broadside to the only battleship that can possibly yeet him. And then the Burgonia has beached himself, waiting for torpedoes to come kill him. And I'm here perfectly spotting for my teammate. Like, eventually this guy's going to die, right? And you can see the torpedoes perfectly, like, he had nowhere to go. If he went forward, he dies. If he goes in reverse, he dies. He had nowhere to go. And then, of course, the GK finishes off the enemy Zhao as well. So now we have a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. The enemy has thrown real hard. Unfortunately, our battleship on the other side, I mean, there's only so much the man can do, right? He's done everything in his power. Gearing ends up taking him down with the flooding. I probably should have went through the middle of the cap because I know the gearing's there, and I looked at the gearing. He was low health. There's a chance that I'm able to catch up and kill him with the guns and then kill the Awami with torps. Like, that is my game plan at this point. I can't win on points. I have to kill both of these guys in order to win. So, we've got to put ourselves in a position to do that. We know the Awami was over here on the left side of the cap, is likely going to be coming this way because he's full health. He's going to be gung-ho to try to get some more damage, and we are going to take full advantage of that. And we are going as hard as we can go to try to catch up to this gearing, praying that this gearing is a moron. All right? I am praying, all the praying, for this freaking gearing to be an idiot. Because we already know the battleship is. Let's look at him. Like, he's already turning into battle tank the GK and me. Like, GK can't be spotted here, right? Like, that GK is so far away, he's not spotted. So, if you're lit up at a battleship, and there's only one destroyer left on the map, and you can't see what's lighting you up, chances are it's a destroyer, folks. Maybe don't sail in a straight line at a given speed. Maybe change what you're doing a little bit. As we've got all three of our torpedoes, you can see I am beelining it towards the destroyer's location. because I know I've got range enough to kill this battleship, and I've got to hand it to the gearing. The gearing's actually pretty smart here. Dropping widespreads. I wouldn't go with widespreads, but he's dropping torpedoes in my direction. Now, you can see that we're within 7 kilometers of the Iwami, but we're going to go ahead and assume that this guy slows down. We want to wait. We don't want to throw all of our torpedoes. And then we want to try to get towards the destroyer. I'm assuming that this Iwami is dev struck. The time is running out. I need this guy to die or we lose the match here, right? Like, this torp strike had to be perfect in order for me to get this and save our team. But unfortunately, of course, we leave him with just enough to get away. And the GK manages to throw his shot out there too early, doesn't catch him when he's broadside, and we lose the match. If he waited just a hair longer, he could have potentially killed that Iwami there with one salvo, but he fired too early. The game ends on points, and I got to give it to the gearing for getting the fuck out of there. He was low health, he knew better, and he was the only reason that team won right there, because everybody else was trying to throw. So well done to the gearing for getting out of there. Well done to the Louisiana for giving it everything he had on the left side of the match. It was fun talking to you in the chat, but we tried. We gave everything we had. But if that doesn't prove that the Shima is not a gunboat and the Shima is meant to be a torp boat, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. So let me know down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.